Hello, everyone. I'm Christina Crowley, and I am glad that you are joining here with me today. This is Inspiration Morning Live, and those of you who are watching me now live, I really appreciate you. And those of you who watch me on the replay, I appreciate you too. None of our schedules always connect, so it's good that we have replays. Today, I want to talk about, how the unintended consequences of fear. Now, I'm not talking about, fear that's truly productive, like we need to be afraid of fire. We need to be afraid of, certain things that get us up and moving and doing something. I'm talking about the unintended consequences of fear, such as, I'm afraid to go out and do that show. I'm afraid to go perform. I'm afraid to be seen. There's a lot of different ways that we are afraid. And fear it's a very personal thing. I know that I was afraid to have my face on my Inspiration Morning page, and I've had it for years. But what was the unintended consequence of that page? Well, I was missing out on doing what I wanted to with that page. Also like people who are afraid of change, and I understand that too, because I've been afraid of change. I understand change. I've been through it. I know that there are some things that I don't like about it, and the unintended consequence of being afraid of change can be procrastination. There's a huge amount of things that, fear brings upon us. And procrastination is one of them. And I've been a sufferer of procrastination. It's hard. Procrastination is just something that's hard to break out of. It is sometimes an unintended consequence of fear, of being afraid of the newness of things. It can, good morning and welcome. I'm Christina Crowley. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some hearts. I really appreciate you being here with me this morning. I'm talking about fear and the unintended consequences, and procrastination being one of them. Procrastination, it is it can be caused by any number of things, but I think our own personal fear is one of them. Having fear in our lives is typical and it's normal, but facing it is, what's truly and really important. Because when we let that fear take over and we do avoidance of fear, I think avoidance of fear is another unintended consequence. Because when we do avoidance, we have the unintended consequence if we miss out on experiences. I know when I was when I just moved to Cincinnati, hello, good morning, I had fear. Everything was new. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anyone. I moved into a house of theater people, and I instantly got friends. It was great, but I had a whole lot of fear. And I did miss out on experiences because when I could have gone out, in the evenings with the group, I felt like I needed to be at home working on getting a job. Well, back then, you went and looked for a job during the day, but that fear kept me at home. It kept me not going out and enjoying the experiences of bonding with my new roommates. Now, we eventually did, and I eventually found the job, but the fear has the unintended consequence of also missing out on experiences, but it hurts. It gives us pain. And most people don't intentionally give themselves pain. And I know that when I started going after my passions, plural, I'm a multi-passionate woman, as are most people, I found some order in my life. And I did my best to stop having fear rule me, to having any of those intended consequences. Now, it's not to say that I haven't had some. I just got over one with putting out my second book because my first one, the fear of criticism kept me back. And so what is keeping you back? What kind of a fear are you letting have unintended consequences in your life? For me, when I knew that I was probably going to be laid off, I was pretty sure I was going to be one of them. That I did plan. I had that fear, but the unintended consequences, I didn't want it to freeze me. I didn't want it to make me do nothing. And that happens a lot, when there's a massive change coming up in your life, and it's not going to be your choice. The choice we have is to make it better, to face it so that, anything that comes up, if it's a new thing, we don't have any more unintended consequences. So two things that I think of the many that fear brings upon us is procrastination. And when we cocoon or freeze or whatever word you kind of want to use for that, we miss out on experiences because of fear. Those are two of them. And I really believe that fear doesn't have to rule us. We can understand our fear and then push through it. Fear can also be a bit of resistance. And so we need to push through the fear. We need to do what we need to do to get beyond that. And we have a much richer life when we do that. I know that every day before I get on here, I get butterflies. I'm afraid that I'm going to get some nasty remarks, which I don't. I get actually some nice notes, and I actually do get some nice comments, and I really appreciate those. So I know that fear isn't completely realistic. But what if I didn't get on and do my Facebook Lives? What's the one thing you're afraid of that you could probably push through? What kind of results is that going to bring in your life? How is that going to make you happy? What if you go do that training? What if you think, okay, I've been wanting to learn X, Y, or Z, and nowadays with the net, you can figure out how to do almost anything. You can learn how to do coding. You can learn how to do knitting. You can learn how to cook. There are so many different things. So everything's at your fingertips, because if you're watching me now, you have a computer. So what are you wanting to do? The fear is holding you back a little bit on. What have you been procrastinating? It doesn't always matter why you're procrastinating. Pushing through it is a good thing, and it kind of pushes that why of the fear to the side, of the procrastination to the side, pushing through. Just like me when I get on every day. It does terrify me. But I do it anyway because, and I did make an obligation. I made an obligation to the group that I have a few masterminds that I'm a part of, that, I was going to overcome this fear. I was going to get on and do my Facebook Lives Monday through Friday, and except for holidays, I'm going to emulate somebody who I know who is doing the same thing. I'm going to do that too, and I'm going to get over it. And I've been enjoying it. So I haven't let the fear of everybody seeing this mug come out. I really do appreciate you being here with me this morning. Hello, good morning. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some hearts. Feel free to put a question in the comments if you like. Put in any kind of comment in the comments. I can see it now, or I can see it later. I do appreciate those of you who listen to me during the day, who tune in. I do these in the mornings, Monday through Friday. And, I've been talking about fear and, not the fear that, we need for survival, but the unintended fear, the unintended consequences of our fear of, we're on to the second half of the year. Do you realize it's 6 months until Christmas? Where has this year gone? What were your resolutions back in January? And I go to the back because what were they? Have you reached them yet? Are they still there? Well, with it being 6 months till the end of the year, we're coming up on July. We're going to be on the second half of the year. What do you want to do? What are you not going to let fear keep you from doing? That may have been a New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year. What are you going to complete by the end of the year? For me, I have my own. I'm going to keep doing these Facebook Lives. I'm going to get my course ready, and I'm going to launch that. I'm going to continue to work with my clients, and those are my resolutions. I made some resolutions earlier in the year that are coming to fruition. I've been working on them, and I'm really happy that I've kept those resolutions to myself. And I have kind of pushed fear out of the way. Now, earlier in the year, I couldn't do Facebook Lives because not everybody got to do them. But now that everybody can do a Facebook Live, there are no excuses for me. And there's no more ways to procrastinate. So I take my deep breaths and I start it and I do it. And I don't let, missing out on this experience be my unintended consequence of fear. I don't let procrastination rule my wanting to do things. Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here. I see there's more here. And give me some thumbs up. Give me some hearts. I do appreciate them. And I do appreciate you joining me. I do Inspiration Live Monday through Fridays, and except for holiday. And I did that to push through my fear. For me, I had the huge unintended consequence of being afraid, of fear. In growing up, I was the biggest procrastinator. And a lot of it was fear. I know when I lived in Butte, so my parents always told me, you can do anything. And I talked about that last week. You can do anything. You can be anything. You just can't be or do everything. And being a multi-passionate person, I don't always like that. It doesn't always make me happy. But I do like the fact that my parents told me I could do anything and be anything. And because when I grew up in Butte, it was a mining town, Butte, Montana. Some of you may know it. Some of you may know that that's where I come from. Growing up there, it was a wonderful experience. We had seasons and all that, but it was also a mining town. It was a union mining town, and everybody was under the thumb of the mining town. Most people were. And the way you escaped was education. And that's kind of the way it was thought of. I know within my group of friends, people thought, well, you need, to escape here because you didn't want to be stuck working your whole life at a job you didn't like or in a support job you didn't like. You needed to get the education to get out of there. Well, lo and behold, when everything started to shut down, they moved my dad to Denver, and we moved to Denver, and it was a whole new world to me. It truly, I saw that I really could be anything. I really could do anything. I could go to college. I could get into any college as long as I put some work into it. And I didn't have that procrastination anymore because I didn't feel like my life choices were fixed for me. And I was afraid of that when I was young because I saw how many people felt that way too. And that's what I learned too. Now my sisters and my brothers all went to college, or joined the Air Force, had, lives they so-called escaped, which isn't a good thing to think about. But, so I did have role models who did. My father was an accountant. He was a rates analyst clerk. And my mom was a homemaker and worked with the priest. So I did see people who enjoyed their lives and enjoyed their work. But when I went to school, kind of the main learned feeling was that we were going to be stuck in jobs that we didn't like. And it was an unintended consequence of that fear that I procrastinated things because I thought, it's going to lead me down a road that I don't want to. And I had to learn to overcome that. And I did in high school, and I slipped back into it. But then I went to college and I realized I could do anything. I was afraid to do anything. But, I did come around and I did get my drama degree, and I loved that. That's what I really wanted to do. But I did go into the business school because I thought that that's what I should do. I thought that's where I would get a job. The unintended consequence of that fear would have been I would have probably gone into a career that I wasn't going to be truly happy with. I had friends who were graduated in the accounting program, and they came back. They would come back from Seattle after a year of working out there, after graduating and passing their CPA exam, and they hated their jobs. And I really felt that fear again that I knew growing up, that I was going to graduate. Yeah, I was going to escape in the way that I knew I could, but I was still going to hate my job. So about a year before I was supposed to graduate, I decided I'm getting my drama degree. I had procrastinated. That fear had made me procrastinate an enormous amount of time in college. But when I finally decided I was going to go for my drama degree, everything came together. And I finished that in like 18 months. Everything truly came together when I faced my fear, when I stopped the procrastination, and I stopped missing out on experiences that I really wanted. The fear that I had inside of me was irrational. It wasn't the productive kind of fear that is the good type of fear. There are good types of fear. this type of fear, it wasn't real. It was made up in my head of things I thought that I learned, I thought that I knew, even though I had role models to the different. And we all do that. We all get the unintended consequences of fear. And I help people who go after their passion. That is what I love to do. And a lot of those people, and a few of the people that I'm really teaching now, they're living the unintended consequences of some of their fears. But as we look to help them go after their passion, we're finding that there are some things they really have always wanted to do, and that artificial barrier isn't there. So, that's truly what gives me joy in life. That is one of the things that I've always wanted to do. I moved back from from LA 17 years ago, knowing I wanted to be a coach. But I hadn't gotten over all my fears yet. And I still have fears, but I hadn't gotten over the really big, important ones. And, now that I am able to help others who have unintended consequences of their fears, rational or not, and help them lose that, but yet live a happier life. They may still be working a job that they're not exactly happy with. And some of us, that is what we will do. That is what pays the bills. But we have on the other side, work, artistic endeavors, hobbies that give them true joy. Hobbies that may not pay the bills, hobbies that may never turn into paying the bills, some that may pay the bills. But the first step is not letting that fear stop you, not using procrastination. And that will, therefore, you won't miss out on experiences that you didn't know that you were going to have, that you didn't know were possible. I'm finding that out now. I've been finding that out over the past 7 years. I thought I was going to work in that job in TV forever because I loved it. But over the past 7 years, I've had many experiences along the way of experiences I didn't know that I would possibly be able to have. I wanted, but I didn't know that they would ever be mine. But I pushed through the resistance and the fear, and I worked already. So what are your biggest challenges that you face in your life and going after your passion? What would you love to see me talk more about? I'm going to be having more of these Facebook Lives. And if you feel that anything within this that I've shared with you is helpful, then please feel free to share it with your friends. Give me thumbs up, give me hearts. I really appreciate those when I see them after I've gone off, because I don't always see them when I'm talking. I don't always pronounce it good, but I do appreciate them, and they do make me feel good. And when I look and see that people have shared this with their friends, with their family, with their audiences, that makes me very, very happy too, and I really appreciate it. And I'm going to be doing this all week, and then I'm going to take a nice long weekend, as I hope you will too. I know in the States it's going to be the 4th of July. Some of you watch from outside the States, and you may have bank holidays, and those are great too. And those of you who are my friends, give me some thumbs up. Let me know you're watching. I really appreciate this. Let me know if you've caught this because you're from my personal page or from my Inspiration Morning page. I do love having you here. And I would love to hear from you. I do love hearing from you. When I do this on Be Live and I see what comes up in the comments, and they do appear for me. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to put them there. And I come live to you because I am facing my fear, and I am not letting the unintended consequences of my fears stop me. Not today. Not for the foreseeable future. It's not that I don't have them. It's that I'm not going to let it stop me. Alrighty. My doggy's begging to go outside and for me to play with her. She's dropped her ball in my lap twice now. And so I am going to go play with the dog. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do today that brings you joy? That brings you happiness? That brings you out of any type of procrastination? What are you going to experience and do for yourself? For me, today I am here. I'm going to spend some time with my dogs playing. I'm going to spend some time with my kitties. I'm taking care of a friend's pet while they are enjoying a wonderful vacation. And I'm always happy to do that for them. And so let me know. feel free to put it in the comments. Feel free to give me a private message. I do know that there are some of you who are too shy. I have been that way myself. So, if you're too shy, feel free to put it in the comments. Push through that bit of fear for yourself, of being too shy to post something within this post. I do enjoy having you here, and I will be back tomorrow. Almost the same time, same place. All right, ta-ta for now.